the morning calm shattered with the thunderous roar of helicopter blades cutting through the sky. Our quiet suburban street transformed into a scene that felt ripped straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. Neighbors spilled onto their lawns, clutching coffee mugs, pajama pants flapping in the wind, phones raised high to capture every second of the madness. And then came the shriek. Karen,
oh my
the
goodness, look at
self-appointed
that!
HOA queen of Maplerist,
that a
burst out of
car?
her house in a silk
They're
bathrobe,
lowering a
her
car
hair
from the
wild,
helicopter.
her eyes blazing with panic. She screamed as heavy chains locked around her precious white Lexus, the luxury SUV she treated like both a crown and a weapon. With a slow, majestic lift, the car rose off the ground, dangling helplessly in the morning sun. Gasps and cheers erupted from the crowd as the scene unfolded. And me? I stood on my porch, coffee in hand, watching calmly. My driveway was finally clear, but Karen's reign was about to come crashing down in spectacular fashion. But to really understand how we got here, I need to take you back. Maplerist used to be a quiet neighborhood when I first moved in. Kids rode their bikes, families grilled on the weekends, and neighbors minded their own business. It wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. That was before Karen arrived. The day she moved in, the whole atmosphere seemed to shift. She strutted around like she owned the place, barking at kids to stay off her lawn, measuring hedges with a ruler, and handing out violation notices like candy. She took the HOA charter as if it were scripture, but strangely, the rules never seemed to apply to her. She walked around with a clipboard and the confidence of a dictator who believed she was untouchable. For years, people grumbled behind closed doors but nobody dared challenge her. And then, she came after me. My roses were the first target. Beautiful, full, blooming roses that had been planted long before the HOA even existed. Karen called them untamed, as if they were lions roaming the streets instead of flowers in a garden bed. She insisted they violated community aesthetics. When I told her politely that my roses had been around longer than the HOA charter, she sneered and said her favorite phrase, "Rules are rules." It became her mantra, a weapon she wielded to keep everyone in check. But her obsession with rules was about to cross the line in a way even she couldn't imagine. One sunny Tuesday morning, I stepped outside with my usual cup of coffee only to freeze in disbelief. There, sprawled across my driveway, blocking both garage doors with perfect precision, was Karen's Lexus. She hadn't just parked it nearby, she had positioned it sideways like a barricade. For a moment, I thought it had to be some kind of accident. Maybe she lost control. But then I saw the note under my windshield. Bold block letters glared back at me. Perhaps this will remind you that no one is above HOA compliance. Trim the roses or next time I'll have your car booted. HOA President Karen. I nearly spit my coffee out all over her hood. She had actually parked her car in my driveway as punishment. 4 flowers. By mid-morning, word had spread. The cul-de-sac turned into an audience. Neighbors came out with their dogs, pretending to walk them but really waiting for the drama. Teenagers sat on their bikes whispering like sports commentators. Phones were already recording. Everyone knew a showdown was brewing. I stepped outside, calm as ever, coffee still in hand, and called out, "Karen, would you mind moving your tank off my driveway?" Right on cue, her front door swung open and out she came, sunglasses perched on her nose, hair sprayed into a helmet, clipboard clutched like a judge's gavel. She snapped, "This is a lawful immobilization of property. You've repeatedly refused to comply with HOA standards. Until you do, your access is revoked." I blinked in disbelief. Revoked? Karen, this is my garage, my driveway, my property. She smirked and shot back, "You signed the covenant when you moved in. The HOA has the right to enforce compliance." The crowd murmured, trying not to laugh. Karen wasn't joking. She truly believed she was judge, jury, and sheriff of Maplerist. I gently set my coffee down on the hood of her Lexus. Her gasp was loud enough to make glass tremble. "Move it," I said, "or I'll have it towed." She smiled wickedly. "Go ahead. I already called the towing company. They won't touch my car. They're under contract with us." With that, she turned and strutted back inside, leaving her SUV sprawled like a throne in the middle of my driveway. Neighbors whispered like I'd been checkmated. But I wasn't out of moves. Not by a long shot. Day after day, the Lexus sat there like a monument. Karen treated it like a personal victory flag. She strutted around in sun hats and tracksuits, waving at neighbors as if she were hosting a parade. She even lectured people from her lawn, barking at them about recycling bins and paint colors, while her car blocked my property. It became a spectacle. Kids rode their bikes in circles around it, joggers stopped to take photos, and one man even set up a lawn chair across the street, narrating the whole saga like a sports announcer. Karen loved the attention. She basked in it, bragging loudly, "That's what happens when you don't follow the rules." I tried the official channels. I called the police. They laughed and said it sounded like a civil matter. I checked with towing companies, but Karen had them all in her pocket with HOA contracts. It was airtight. For anyone else, that would have been the end. But I don't break easily. When pushed, I don't just push back, I plan. And slowly, an idea started to form. A wild, outrageous, impossible idea. Unless you happen to know a man with a helicopter. You see, I run a small contracting and logistics business. I know people in heavy equipment, transport, even aviation. And one of those people was an old buddy named Rodney Roeder Alvarez, who ran a heavy-lift helicopter service. These weren't sightseeing choppers. They were the kind that carried shipping containers, steel beams, whole loads of freight. And suddenly, I knew exactly how I was going to end Karen's reign. Not just end it with style. I called Rodney, laid out the situation. At first he laughed. "You want me to airlift a car?" "Man, I move steel beams, not Toyotas." I told him it wasn't a Toyota, it was a Lexus. And it was trespassing. I had photos, witnesses, everything. His laughter stopped. "You're serious, aren't you?" I said yes. Dead serious. He paused, then said the words I was hoping to hear, "Send me the address."